Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 97. I think I'm in the right episode. Yes, episode 97 Receiving More of What You Want. My name is Lisa Espinosa, and I'm a spiritual career coach. And I help my clients who mostly are wellness professionals, so therapists, other coaches, women who are really committed to bringing healing to the world. I help them share their unique gifts in their work, in their service, in their leadership. And I do that by teaching them how to connect with their soul every day throughout the day, no matter what's happening around, right? So that it doesn't become one of those things that it's like, oh, I connect with my soul when things are really, really good. I'm on vacation or I'm in a retreat, or the other extreme, I connect with my soul when things are in crisis, when things are really intense. Sometimes those can be actually times where we have a higher perspective and it can be easier to listen, to hear our true essence. But truly in our life, what we're being guided to master is to not need those extremes, to actually every day throughout the day be led from that wisdom within. So today we're going to talk about how do you receive more of what you want. And so they're very simple steps, right? Simple doesn't necessarily mean easy. So if you've studied law of attraction before, you've probably heard this. And if not, that's totally fine. And I want to clear up when I say receive more of what you want, what I'm talking about is your soul's true desires, your soul's prayers, intentions, whatever word resonates with you. I sent out in my newsletter this week, you might have seen it, where I was talking about how to discern our true heart's prayers and what they consist of. And I've learned this through my own experience and my experience coaching my clients for the past 15 years, that there's two main parts to our heart's desires, our heart's prayers. One is for personal healing. So whether you're here to love yourself fully, trust your gifts, trust yourself, heal codependency, experience abundance, experience meaningful relationships, there's some personal part of the prayer for your own evolution, your own awakening. And that's intricately connected to the second part, which is a desire for how you're here to serve others, how you're here to lead others, how you're here to share your medicine, as I call it, your soul's medicine with the world. Now, this doesn't mean that there can't be material things that you desire too. Of course, can totally be part of it, of course. But even if it's like, oh, I desire a new car or I need a different place to live, all of those, ultimately, those material desires are connected to some type of deeper desire, right? To feel supported and loved. So whatever that is. So I want to clarify that's what I'm talking about when I say how to receive more of what you want. So your soul's desires. So first thing is you ask for it. Now, you don't even need to ask for it consciously. We're always asking. This part we don't even have to be conscious of, although it's helpful to be conscious of it. And the way we learn what we want often is through contrast. So if you've been in a job that you hate, or maybe maybe hate is too strong a word, but you just don't feel like you're really able to share your gifts. You feel stifled, or you feel like whatever the values are don't align with you anymore, or it doesn't pay you enough, or the hours are way too long, or it's affecting your health, or whatever it is. So you experience the contrast of that job, that career, and you ask, even if you don't ask for it consciously, like, I want something better. So the first step is asking, and that can happen consciously or unconsciously. We're always asking. And in law of attraction language, they call it, we're shooting out rockets of desire. You can think of it of I'm radiating out prayers or intentions of what I want to create in my life. Okay, so that's the first step. Easy step because literally we're just doing it automatically. Second step, your soul responds. The universe, God, creator, whatever you want to call it. I'm from my perspective, I'm using the language of our soul, right? Your true essence, that inner being that you truly are, that's connected to source. So you shoot out these rockets of desires or radiate out these prayers for what you want, whether it's conscious or not. And your soul's like, yes, absolutely, I want to deliver this to you. Why is your soul so happy to deliver this to you? Because your soul placed those prayers in your heart. What you truly want comes from your soul's desire. So why would your soul put these prayers in your heart and then be like, nah, I don't think so. I don't think you deserve them. That would be very cruel. And I don't believe our soul is cruel, right? Our soul is unconditionally loving. So first step, you ask for what you want, whether you ask for it consciously or unconsciously. Second step, your soul's like, yep, got it, heard you. Yes, I'm delivering it. So as you notice, first two steps, you don't really have to do much. Then we get to the third step. This is where it's at. The third step, which sounds like the easiest step ever, you receive, right? And you might be like, well, I'm ready. Hand it over. Here I am. But this is the thing. In order to receive it, you have to align with the vibration of that answered prayer. I'm going to keep using the word prayer, but please understand this is beyond any sort of religious dogma. So if for you, again, that word doesn't resonate, just replace it. Intention, goal, dream, desire. So again, the only way to receive the answered prayer is to align with the vibration of it. And that, although very simple, is not necessarily easy. And that's the journey of our life, to align with our answered prayers. Because when we align with those answered prayers, not only are we blessed, right? Remember I said in the beginning how part of the answered prayer is for our own personal evolution, but it's intricately connected to how you're here to serve humanity, how you're here to lead. And this is what I coach my clients in, right? For a whole year. Throughout their journey, I'm helping them align with their answered prayers, because what gets in the way? What gets in the way is all the thoughts, the old beliefs, the wounds, the programming. So for example, let's say that you have your own business or your own private practice. Maybe you're a therapist or a coach or a healer. I'm just giving this as an example. So a lot of my clients are. And you're like, my prayer is to grow my business, to grow my practice, so that it helps so many people, that it truly brings healing, so that it's profitable and provides for me, creates the life that I want, while I'm also bringing healing to the world. So let's say this is your prayer, this is your intention. Again, I said that goes out into the universe. Your soul hears it, and your soul's like, yep, got it. I'm on it. I'm going to deliver this to you. Now, you said that desire, you have that prayer, but then what if you also have these thoughts of like, well, I know it's not going to work. Do I really deserve that? Can I really bring healing to others? Is it really fair that I have something like that when so many people are suffering? I'm so behind. There's no way this is ever going to happen. Look at that person. They're so further ahead. So on and on and on and on and on. All that programming, all those thoughts that are running in your brain. And when I say you, I mean all of us, right? We all have some type of limiting thoughts. Maybe you're even afraid of it actually coming true. Maybe you're like, oh gosh, what if, and I want to be clear, sometimes these aren't even conscious, but you might have thoughts of like, what if I do have that? People are going to be jealous of me. They're going to judge me. They're going to think I'm just interested in money. Who knows? So all of that is in a completely different vibration than your soul's vibration, than your soul alignment. And one way you can think about it is, imagine if you did have that desire, if you had that private practice that you loved, or business that served people, that made people so happy, so blessed, so healed, that provided for you the life that you wanted, that you desired. And because you had that life, you were able to create even more healing for your clients because you weren't worried about money or anything else. It was this beautiful thing. So if you imagine having your answered prayer, think about, how does that feel? So maybe you feel so peaceful. Maybe you feel really grateful. Maybe you feel just really inspired to serve even more. Maybe you feel really generous. Those are all the vibrations that will create your ability to receive the answered prayer. So again, this is the work, this is the process, this is what the only part of receiving that you need to work on is clearing all the thoughts, all the beliefs that say, oh, I don't deserve it, oh, it's not possible, or it's going to be too much work, oh, it can't be that simple, oh, people are going to judge me, oh, what if I let people down? All of that stuff needs to be healed. And it's not, and I'm saying that not as an overwhelming thing. It's just like, oh, that's my part of the work, right? That's my part of the process. And when I coach my clients, there's so many tools to use, right? There's energy healing, there's working with those different parts of us, there's mindset work, all of that. But here in this podcast episode, I want to, I'm not coaching you privately, right? So I don't have time to share all of that. But there's one thing that's the first step. So if you're watching this or listening to this and you're like, okay, all of this makes sense, I have no idea, I feel like I have so much to heal, I don't even know where to begin. This is where you begin. This is where you always begin. Self-compassion. That is where you begin. Because often when we delve into this whole law of attraction thing, or this whole thing of, just let yourself receive, right? And you're like, I want to receive, I'm ready, bring it on, right? But you're like, but it's not happening because we have all those thoughts, all those burdens, all that programming. And then we worry, because if we understand this, then we're like, oh my gosh, I know I need to be positive, but I'm just in so much pain right now. These thoughts are making me feel so anxious. And I know I have to be positive. So now I'm anxious because I'm not being positive. And it's like this whole spinning cycle. But again, where you come back to is self-compassion, because your soul, and I really want to explain this in a very simple way. Even if in this moment, if we stay with the example I've been giving, that you have a private practice or a business, that you want to be inspiring for humanity, you wanted to serve others, you also wanted to provide beautifully for your life. And even if in this moment you're like, I am just having a really hard time even imagining how that would feel and holding that in my body, if you hold self-compassion, you immediately start to align with your soul, because your soul understands. Your soul knows that you also have an ego structure, right? That is always looking outside and comparing and feeling like there's not enough. So your soul knows. So that's like a secret entry almost, is compassion, because as soon as you start to express compassion towards yourself, you're back in alignment. And this is really, really important. Now, I understand that sometimes we can feel so bad, right? We're so in our ego structure. And when I talk about the ego structure, I'm not talking about it from psychological terms. I'm talking about it from a spiritual perspective. Our ego is that part of us that believes we're separate from source, right? So our ego is always looking outside of us. And so when we are looking through the ego's lens, it can be very hard. Like, okay, I'm hearing you, Lisa, I hear that. How do I even begin to start to express self-compassion when all I'm thinking in my head is, what's wrong with you? Why am I so slow? Why am I here again? Why am I stuck here again? And so again, this is part of why coaching is so powerful, right? That's why I've had a coach for so long. That's why I work with my clients for a long period, as opposed to just come to one session and then you're healed. It's like really supporting this practice. But this is what I want to tell you. Just first step, just asking, just if you can, and I know you can, because we have free will, even if we have an ego structure, we have free will. That was our gift from the divine. And if in that moment you can remember self-compassion and you can just ask, beautiful soul, bring me back to self-compassion. I don't know how. My thoughts are beating me up right now. It feels like impossible to be compassionate to myself right now, but I'm asking you, bring me back to compassion. And so that's the first step, even if in that moment you can remember that. And I want to tell you, the last 3 weeks, I've had some really intense initiations. I was sharing this recently in a class I did yesterday. And it was bringing up this, I know that it's another layer of healing. I know that on the other side, I'm going to be able to help more people and all of that. But the process of it can be intense, right? And part of it, it's the year of the dragon. And the other years of the dragon were like the year 2000, the year 2012. There's others. And when I look at my life, those years were a lot of transformation was happening. And in particular, a lot is coming up from the year 2000 for me specifically. So there's a lot of like this kind of purging of these old burdens, old anxieties that don't really have a logical explanation in this and during this time of my life. There's triggers that have happened that have brought it up, but the intensity of the anxiety I've been feeling, it's kind of shifting now. But the last 3 weeks was like a lot. And it was really reminding me how when we're in those times, it can be so challenging to extend compassion towards ourselves. And all I could do was just bring my hands to my heart and just ask my soul, like, I'm willing to express compassion towards myself. And then start to replace those sentences, even if those sentences were still, because remember, a thought, all it is a sentence in your head. And so even if those other sentences were still in my head, what's wrong with you? Why are you so anxious? All of that stuff. I could start to also make space for the other sentences of I love you. Right? It's okay that this is happening right now. I understand why you're feeling this way. There's nothing, you're not doing something wrong. You're not behind. This is part of the process. You've done this before. It's like slowly I start to take my power back and the sentences start to bring me back into compassion. But it might not immediately go into, I love you so much. Oh my gosh, you're the best thing ever, right? Like sometimes I can go into that. Absolutely. And with practice, that becomes easier. But when we're going through some intense initiation, and to come back to how do you receive what you want, it's actually when we're on the verge of that breakthrough, when we're on that verge of clearing massive stuff so that we can receive what we want. A lot of times it's when it becomes a little more intense. And it's not that your soul is trying to punish you. It's just that there's like a big purging happening. And that's when we absolutely come back to compassion. And if you connect with spirit guides, those ascended master guides like Mother Mary, like Kuan Yin, like Ascended Master Jesus, like Buddha, whomever you connect with, you can call on them, call on your guardian angels. Like we have a whole team that can help us during those times. Now, it's not always that extreme, right? There's some times where it won't be that intense, right? And you can start to recognize like, oh, I'm getting discouraged because my physical eyes aren't seeing my answered prayers. And it's like, oh, that's okay, right? Because I know my soul is working behind the scenes. What do I need to, what's right now, what is coming up for me that I can clear, that I can love, that I can have compassion for, so that I can go back into the space of receiving. And if you're watching this now or in the replay, and you know what, whenever you're watching this, it happens to be the Lion's Gate this week, right? Tomorrow is kind of the height of it, but today I have a special Lion's Gate Mother Mary ceremony. And things like that, right? Gatherings where you can come together with this specific intention around receiving, around abundance, around clearing what's in the way, and these what often are called portals that happen throughout the year, right? The solstices, the equinoxes, the Lion's Gate. The Lion's Gate was in the ancient Egypt, but it was also in the Mayan cosmology, which of course is part of my origins, my ancestry. Also, this was a like a portal, a time where so much could be delivered to us. And because of that, so much could be cleared so we could receive that. So find those spaces to be nurtured and receive as well. Right? So whether it's by your house, whether it's something like what I'm offering today or other things, it's like gather together with that common intention, because as Jesus said and many masters said, wherever two or more are gathered, there I am. What does that mean? There I am, I am present. So when we gather together, even here in this podcast, when we gather together, we're able, it's like our channel increases, so we're able to release more together and receive more together. Okay, so to recap, what are the steps? You ask, and you can ask consciously or unconsciously for what you want. Step 2, your soul says, yep, okay, got it, I'm sending it to you. So the first and second step, you don't even have to think about. It's happening automatically. The third step is where it's at. The third step is receiving, aligning with your soul, delivering this to you. But it's not because you're defective or you're a bad person, you're a weak person. It's none of that. It's because you were courageous enough to sign up for a human life. There are thoughts, there are wounds, there are burdens, there's programming that gets in the way of you receiving that answered prayer. And the process of clearing that is what receiving more of what you want entails. Okay, so I'm going to lead a little meditation right now. And again, I want to remind you, there's still time to sign up for the Lion's Gate ceremony. Replay is provided, and I will pull an oracle card for each person. And that is at 3 o'clock Central Standard, like Mexico time. So that's like 4 o'clock Central in the US. This whole time zone thing, but you will get the replay. And also, I forgot to say, next week I have a free masterclass called How to Gently Integrate Your Soul's Lessons. And this was really inspired by myself, by my clients who are all going through so many different initiations. And in my conversations with my soul and Mother Mary, and she was like, okay, I was really asking, how do we integrate all of this? What does integration mean? How do we do it in a gentle way so we don't feel like we're just getting like beat up, right? Like, oh, okay, I'm just going through the dark night of the soul again, getting slapped around by my own thoughts or by programming or by my beliefs. And then we crawl out of that and feel better. It's like, that's the old paradigm. We're here as the bridge to bringing a different way of healing. So that is a free masterclass next week you can sign up for. So I wanted to share that. And if you're watching this and you're like, how do I find out about all these things? Sign up to my newsletter. Okay, like my newsletter, that is how you will know all the events that are coming up. There's events I plan ahead, and there's other events that honestly my soul is just like, okay, we're going to do this. There's going to be a change to this podcast come episode 100. We're in episode 97. I'm going to have a special episode 100 celebration. And then there's going to be a little shift moving forward in the podcast. And so the best way to learn about that, again, is to sign up for my newsletter. And I'm going to Ireland next weekend, again, for 2 weeks, not 2 weeks, something like that. And I'm so excited, and I'm so grateful for my soul figuring that out for me, even when it seemed kind of like a crazy plan, because I know that being there, for some interesting reason, I must have had a past life in Ireland. I have a strong connection to that land, even though I was born in Chicago and my parents are from Mexico. I have Mexican ancestry. But I've always felt a pull, and then my soul's journey aligned me to connect with a soul sister there, really dear friend. And so I'm sharing this because for a couple of reasons. One, just as an example of how our soul is always watching out for us, right? There's always, even when things are intense, there are things that are put in place, whether it's a yoga class, whether it's suddenly your schedule clears up and you're able to walk in nature, whether it's a trip like I'm taking now. And I want to say, there were many years in my life where getting to go to Ireland, Europe, anywhere would have been like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to do that, right? but there was other ways that my soul was providing for me. And it's so important for law, for abundance, for us to recognize the abundance that we already have in our life. So I want to celebrate that with you. Also, because, I'm kind of gearing up, having all these offerings now as I kind of go and recharge myself and integrate gently these initiations. So when I come back, I can serve you even more. I wouldn't be surprised if I share from, maybe some lives from Ireland. I'm not sure. I'm going to kind of let my soul lead that. But also, the other reason is I have still some slots for breakthrough consultations before I leave. And so if you're interested in scheduling a free 1 hour consult with me, where I will help you get clarity on what are the things, like what are the things that are in the way. And I have to tell you that even when we are so reflective and so insightful, and we've been on this journey for so long, because that's what my clients are, right? They've been on this journey for a while. We still have blind spots. I have them, right? I'm in a new mastermind and I'm getting coached like a lot, right? I'm in a really deep coaching container. And it's so amazing to see, like, oh my gosh, like things that I'm like, I didn't even notice that limiting thought that I've been carrying around for years. And so it's so helpful to have a space where someone else can compassionately hold and see where that might be for you. And then I'll share a simple plan, like a simple solution. What is the solution for you? And if I feel I can help you more, I will share the details of my coaching program. So wanted to share that with you. Let's do our little meditation. Oh, thank you, Jill. I'm so glad. Oh my gosh. And I want to show you all. I pulled this card last night for me and I was like, I love this image. This is from, oh gosh, I forgot. I don't have the Oracle deck right with me, so I'm not going to get up to see it. But the back looks like this. And I want to show it to you because I feel with this deck, sometimes I don't even read the meanings, even though the booklet is amazing. I just look at the images and let them speak to me. So look at this. And it says receptivity. Look at that woman, arms up, that lotus flower, and now that light. To me, it's like abundance. Look at this. Receiving, right? Receiving what your soul, your answered prayers. And so I was just like, I have to show this today. I'm going to show it in my class later as well. And so we're going to use this as a starting point for our meditation. Okay. And just kind of notice, I'm going to hold it a little longer and just notice where your eyes are drawn. Is it the lotus flower? Is it the, the spirals here? Is it the lights, the starlight, it looks like an ocean of water. Like just kind of see where you are. Is it the word receptivity? Okay. So I invite you now to close your eyes, take a few deep breaths, and visualize those roots going down your legs, out the bottoms of your feet, deep into the earth. And we're asking our soul to help us stay very grounded during this inner journey so that all the blessings you receive get anchored into your human life. And now I'm just seeing those beautiful shades of blue, right? Blue and pearlescent, like this luminescent white. And this beautiful light that's gathering around you, gathering over the crown of your head. Stars and sparkles. And as that happens, maybe you do something with your arms, either how that figure was in the picture, arms up like that, or just arms down. It's just like, or just visualize yourself in that pose of receptivity that you're here to receive from your soul. Knowing that your soul has nothing but love, like love, abundance, and all those answered prayers for all the asking that you've done. And that pillar of light starts to descend on the crown of your head into your heart. And as that happens, ask your soul, beautiful soul, what one block or limitation has been hindering my ability to receive this abundance. Show me what it is. And just listen. Is it a thought? Is it a feeling? Is it an old trauma or wound? And it's okay if in this moment you just see it as a symbol. Maybe you just see it as this rock or as this tar, or maybe you immediately know, or it comes as a word, or maybe you don't see or sense anything right now, and that's perfect because you'll become aware of it at the right time. And then say, beautiful soul, show me, teach me how to be compassionate with myself as I heal this. As I heal this block, as I dissolve it. And so receive all of this in your heart. And then just feel your body just like filled with that starlight cascading over, like that image I showed you in the beginning. And then just notice if there's anything else you notice, other geometric shapes, if you notice perhaps other colors coming in. Just let it happen. Remember, we're here together, not just those of you that are live here, but everyone watching the replay. And with deep gratitude, thank your soul as your soul thanks you. And we bring the palms of our hands together as we bow to each other and our own heart. And we end this inner journey with a namaste. Namaste, everyone. Thank you so much, everybody. I know that was like a little jumpstart to our Lionsgate ceremony later today. So we're going to go so much deeper then. And feel free to share in the chat or in the comments if anything came up to you. I was just like, really, this image was just so blessing this meditation. But I was feeling like the message I heard was, it can be so much easier than we think it is. Like, allow it to become easy, which I know it's something I need to work on, right? I think sometimes when we've had a lot of challenges, we kind of have that warrioress energy, like, okay, I'm gonna get through it. Like, it's almost like our nervous system is wired for the struggle, and we're dissolving that. In fact, we're gonna do that today in the Lionsgate. I'm hearing that. I'm writing it down. We're rewiring ourselves. It doesn't have to be a struggle. Oh, thank you so much, Michelle. Really appreciate that. So I'm going to pull one unicorn card and then we are done. All right. This is from the Magic of the Unicorns, which I feel like they're so beautiful. The unicorn energy is so wise, so sacred, so powerful. And it also is so playful and joyful. So it's a beautiful combination for abundance, right? So let's go here. Message. I don't think maybe I've gotten this, but it's been a while. Number 12, the freedom of truth. Communicate honestly. Be who you truly are. I love this so much. Again, the freedom of truth. Communicate honestly. Be who you truly are. Look at this beautiful person. He's speaking, right? He's sharing his medicine. People are receiving. Look at how they're being blessed by it. And then look at this beautiful unicorn. I feel like it's his spirit unicorn with the rainbows. This is such a beautiful representation of us sharing our soul's medicine. And it doesn't mean like you have to be a speaker. Maybe it's through art. Maybe it's through your classes, through your private sessions, whatever it is. But look at that. And notice that he's not tired. He's not like, oh my gosh, it's so hard to share my medicine. I'm so depleted. I have... it's like, no, he's being filled up because that's how it's meant to be. We're overflowing and it blesses us. There you go. All right, everyone, I will see you soon. Hopefully I will see you later for our Lionsgate ceremony. I'll see you next week for episode number 98 and for the masterclass, how to gently integrate your soul's lessons. All right, bye, everyone. Thank you so much.